All right, greetings YouTube. It is Farmer Ross here at Misty Moon Farms. In today's video, we're going to be going over the top 5 easiest plants to grow. So as a known farmer, I get asked all the time, I want to grow something, how do I get started? So first you got to decide what you want to grow, and there are plants that are much easier to grow than others. So first is to check your attitude. A lot of people tell me, oh, I want to grow something, but I don't have a green thumb. Oh, I've tried stuff in the past, but it hasn't worked out. Move past that, please. So you can give away that limiting belief. You can be excited to learn, eager to learn, because that's the way it's going to be. So first of all, it's to establish that attitude. Next is to know your soil. So I've done other videos on how to cultivate really rich microbial fertilized soil in an all organic, no-till, no-dig way. So you can go back and watch videos on that if you need to learn how to build your soil, because that's going to be by far the #1 thing that's going to produce healthy plants and make your job as a farmer or gardener a lot easier, is just having healthy soil. Because when you have healthy soil, the plants can grow healthy, they're going to grow bigger, they're going to be more pest and disease resistant, and it's going to make your job easier. So make sure you go back and watch soil videos, learning how to build good soil. And then also, if you're going to be growing in containers, you can just use a potting mix, you know, like in big bags. I have some over there, but a big bag of potting mix specifically for potting mix. That you can buy at the nursery or Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever. So mentality, soil. Now for the top 5 plants. By far the easiest thing to grow that I have found is okra. Here in North Texas, you can just throw out okra seeds and it grows. It's incredibly drought tolerant, so if you forget to water it, it's probably going to be okay, and it'll grow through the hottest of summers. So we're going to go over when to plant all of these too, because that's going to be a big thing. You can always Google, if you decide you want to grow something, you can always Google, you know, when to plant XYZ in my area, wherever you live. So okra, you can pretty much only plant once a year, and that's going to be in the spring. Sometime around now, which is March, you can begin to germinate your seeds or do them directly in your garden. And then it's going to grow all the way throughout summer, into the fall, into October, November. And you're going to need to harvest them every few days, the little okra buds, because they get hard and stiff quick. So okra is the easiest thing to grow. Next on the list is mint. So we're going to do a video soon on how to grow mint. Mint is ridiculously easy to grow, and it pretty much takes over everything. It can grow in the shade, so it only needs partial sun, and you're probably going to grow it from a cutting. So you could just go to the nursery or Home Depot or whatever and buy mint plants, and then just transplant those in your garden. You can put in a little bit of slow release fertilizer depending on your soil situation. And it's going to take off. Make sure it's watered. Water it depending on the temperature twice a week maybe, and it will take over everything. So be careful on that one, because it can invade the rest of your garden if you're not careful. So okra, mint. Next is rosemary. So rosemary is another herb. It's a shrub. You can buy the transplants at the big box stores. I recommend doing that over seed, and that's the only time I really recommend it, is with mint and rosemary. And same thing as mint, just give it a little fertilizer depending on your soil situation. Water it. It's even more drought tolerant. You can water it probably once a week. Initially, when you transplant it, water it maybe a few times a week for the first few months. But once it starts to become a shrub, it's incredibly hardy, can tolerate frosts, and it's going to come back every year, just like mint. Next is zucchini. So zucchini is a really great one. It does have problems with pests. It's not completely impervious to everything like okra is, but it's relatively easy to grow. You're going to want to make sure you grow it outside. Don't grow it in a greenhouse. And start those from seed. And those are the same. You pretty much only want to plant them in the springtime. Mint and rosemary you can plant almost year round. But with the zucchini, you pretty much want to plant it in the springtime. Get the seeds, germinate the seeds and transplants. Once they're about a month old, move them into your garden. Keep it well watered, watering it about every other day or so. And it is possible that you'll get things like powdery mildew or squash bugs or cucumber beetles or something like that. They do have pests and disease, but you can watch my other videos on how to grow squash. They're still a relatively easy to plant, and they're very satisfying to grow because most everyone knows how to use a squash. Compared to something like a cucumber or a melon or a tomato, they're much easier to grow. Okay, and then last on the list are kale or collards. So some sort of brassica. Brassica are all descendants of the same plant. It's like a mustard plant. So broccoli, kales, collard greens, cauliflower, I don't know what else, but those are all called brassicas, and they're all descendant of the same plant, broccolini. And the reason I picked those is because you can plant them pretty much any time during the year, unless you live somewhere up north and it's really, really freezing outside. But as long as the temperatures are moderate in the spring, summer, or fall, you can transplant those outside. And they are also very resistant to diseases and pests. They don't need a lot to really grow. They can tolerate shade, and yeah. So and if you need help on the pest situation for those, because those two do get pests sometimes, watch my other videos on how to grow collard greens, how to grow kale. So those are my top 5 favorite picks for new growers and they want to have success. First, watch your attitude, change your attitude. You're eager to learn, you are capable. Second is your soil situation. Make sure that you have nice soil, learn how to cultivate good soil, or if you're doing it in containers, just buy a nice organic potting mix from the nursery. And then we went over our selection of okra, mint, rosemary, zucchini, and kale or collards. So grow what sounds good to you, grow what you think you'd actually be excited to eat, because that's part of the fun journey. And until next time, bless.